When explaining the basic principles of flight, we consider air to be incompressible at speeds less than 4/10 of the speed of sound, or Mach 0.4. Or, in other words, that pressure is considered to have no effect on air density. At speeds above Mach 0.4, which is about 300 miles per hour, it is no longer practical to make that assumption, because density changes in the airflow around the aircraft begin to affect the behavior of the aircraft. At high altitude, a large high-speed jet transport will be cruising at a speed marginally above its critical Mach number, and will have a small shock wave on the wing. If the aircraft speed is increased, the shock wave will rapidly grow larger, causing the static pressure to increase sharply in the vicinity of the shock wave. The locally increased adverse pressure gradient will cause the boundary layer to separate immediately behind the shock wave. This is called a shock stall. The separated airflow will engulf the tailplane in a very turbulent wake, which will cause severe airframe buffeting, obviously an undesirable phenomenon. This high-speed buffet, or shock stall, can seriously damage the aircraft structure. So an artificial warning device is installed to alert the flight deck crew if the aircraft exceeds its operational speed limit by even a small amount. The limits are VMO, the maximum operating indicated airspeed, and the equivalent Mach number, MMO. The high-speed warning is oral, either a clacker, horn or siren, and is designed to be easily distinguishable from the low-speed stick shaker triggered by high angle of attack. The warning will not be cancelled until the speed is reduced below the speed at which it is triggered. You have learned that approaching the critical angle of attack can cause airframe buffeting, low-speed buffet. And we have now shown that flying too fast can also cause buffet, high-speed buffet. Any airframe buffet is undesirable, and, if allowed to become prolonged, can lead to structural damage, as well as upsetting the passengers. At high cruising levels, around 36 to 42,000 feet, the margin between the normal stall warning stick shaker and the high-speed warning may be as little as 15 knots. High speeds are operationally necessary, and designers are constantly trying to find ways of increasing maximum speeds without incurring any undesirable flight characteristics. The limits mentioned just now, VMO and MMO, are investigated and established during certification flight testing of new types. These maxima give a speed margin into which an aircraft can momentarily overspeed and be recovered by the pilot before any undesirable effects occur. This lesson concludes the series on stalling. The problems incurred by shock stall, such as tuck, loss of control effectiveness and instability, are covered in detail in the lessons on high-speed flight.